Hey, welcome to Yoga for Today. Today's yoga sequence is going to be very different than what we usually do. Not very different, but different because we're using a different prop. So this is a yoga wheel. And this yoga wheel was gifted to me by one of my students. So I started incorporating it into my own practice whenever I want to get into my own body. And recently I discovered that this is something that you might want to learn about. And I discovered this because I join a lot of Facebook groups specifically about yoga and energy work because I like to learn what you guys are looking for, what you want to learn about, what you want to practice, what you need help and support with. And recently someone asked how to use a yoga wheel. So today's sequence is going to be all about how to incorporate a yoga wheel into some yoga postures. And these are going to be specifically for beginner to intermediate levels of using the wheel. So an introduction with the wheel. So if you have a wheel, go ahead and grab it, bring it into your practice. If you don't have a wheel yet, but you'd like to learn about it, feel free to watch. And also you might watch as well because you might be able to incorporate some props like some stacked up blocks instead and maybe get some inspiration for how you can support yourself in your practice in that way. So starting off, we're going to take the block behind us. So this is going to be kind of like a supported fish. So you want to think about taking the block behind you so that you've got your upper back. I'm going to extend my legs. And as your upper back lays onto the wheel, then maybe you bring your head back. And as you bring your head back, you might hold onto the wheel until your head rests, maybe adjust, and then bring your hands down. Heart is lifted. Palms are grounded. If you're noticing that it feels a little wonky, a little off center, then you can certainly switch it up. I'm going to bring mine a little lower so I can get right behind my heart. And this means my head is going to hang back a little more. And that feels okay in my body, so I'm going to stay there. Here we just start our practice opening our big, beautiful heart. Getting some nice extension for the spine. And getting this lift that we might not be able to get with a different prop or without any props. This feels especially good to me today because I wanted to come outside and record in nature, and I can feel the sun on my face, so I'm feeling so much gratitude for that sun connection. It's good for your solar plexus, and healthy dose of vitamin D. So we're going to slowly start to come out. Just lifting your head, and as you lift your head, you can bend your knees if you straighten your legs. Bring your heels in line with your glutes, and then maybe you just lift your seat. So you might roll gently up and down. You don't want to take the wheel to your low back, but maybe you just move a little more here. Just thinking about giving yourself a little self-massage, kind of like you would do with a foam roller. And then we'll take our seat down, holding on to the wheel, extending the legs. Bring your wheel out to the side. And here, maybe you just pull the flesh back from the glutes. So getting a little more centered on your mat. Now we're going to come into a supported Paschimottanasana. So this is going to be for your hamstrings. So let's start off by taking the wheel between the legs. And then from here, take your hands behind your glutes. Just lean back, press the palms down, feel the support. We're going to try to get both legs onto the wheel. So think about taking the calf muscles. This might be a little wonky since you're trying to fit both legs, so you might have to adjust. And then once you fit both legs underneath your calf muscles, then you can start to fold a little deeper. So if this is already enough for you, maybe you stay here, and that's totally cool. If you want to go deeper, maybe you walk the hands forward. Maybe you hold on to the wheel. I find that this is actually more supportive for me than having my hands down on the mat. Now, if your hamstrings are okay with it, maybe you bend the elbows and lower your torso towards your thighs. Now, you don't want to push yourself. You don't want to go too far. It takes the hamstrings a while to warm up. So just gently coming in. We have an opportunity to get into the hamstrings later, so just a gentle opening here. And then we'll release by moving one leg at a time. As we move the legs, we'll bring them out to one side, and we'll set ourselves up for child's pose. So we'll take the knees open the width of the mat. Big toes are going to meet. We'll start off by having the wheel between the legs. And you're going to take your hands to the top of the wheel. Take a deep inhale breath. And as you exhale, send the hands forward, send the torso forward. Keep the wheel in your hands, and then lower your forehead down to the mat. So the hands can stay closer to the mat if you need something more gentle, or you can keep your hands to the top of the wheel if you want to send your chest down further, getting deeper into the arms and the shoulders. So think about how is comfortable for you to hold on to your wheel. Let the forehead ground down. And with the knees open wide, feel into the hips. Feel into the shoulders and the arms. You might be able to send the wheel a little further out. You might inhale, lift your head, and then as you exhale, lower down. Think about lengthening the spine. And on the next inhale, we'll lift the head, and we'll slowly roll the wheel back towards your body. Now, leaving the wheel in front of you for just a moment, come into tabletop. So the knees go under the hips, and the wrists are under the shoulders. So we're going to set ourselves up for puppy pose. Now, in this puppy pose, the main difference that I feel here with the wheel is that I don't feel as much pressure on my knees. So we're actually going to bring the feet, the tops of the feet, onto the wheel. So let's take the wheel back, bring it between your feet, hold it in position, and then lift one foot at a time. Get both feet resting onto the wheel. Now the legs are going to stay just like this. All we need to do from here is walk the hands forward and then lower down to our puppy. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, you can release the feet, come back to your traditional puppy pose or melting heart, and then notice the difference in the knees when you have your feet supported on the wheel. The wheel provides a nice height for this as well. Let's take one more round of breath here. Inhale deeply through the nostrils. Exhale, melt your heart down towards the mat. And slowly bring the left hand under the left shoulder, right hand under the right shoulder, and then press the mat away. Extend the arms. Release one foot at a time. Actually, let's stay here. Since we already have the feet positioned here on the wheel, we want to roll it back. So we're going to come into plank pose. So in your plank pose, tops of the feet are on the wheel. Now, working with our core, let's slowly bend the knees, bring them in, and then extend them out. So you might have to readjust your hands, bring it in, and then send it out. Continue to move in this way. Notice how this feels for your core. Strengthening the front of the body. This way we're not depending on the back of the body so much. It's a really nice controlled way to work on the core, on the abs. And then once you've had enough, gently lower the knees down to the mat. Take a full round of breath here. Release one foot at a time, supporting the wheel between your feet. And then open the knees to hip distance if they came together. We'll grab that wheel, bring it forward. So now we're gonna have some options with the wheel in front of us, taking a couple options here. So we're gonna start off with a half pyramid pose. So this is the point where we're gonna be able to get deeper into the hamstrings like I was telling you earlier in our practice. So think about a runner's lunge. We wanna we'll start with the right side. So I'm gonna position the wheel to the right side of the mat, and then I'm gonna bring my right foot forward. From here, you might bring one hand down or both hands down so that you can bring your calf muscle onto the wheel. Now, it might be more comfortable for you to stay with your hands down, or if you feel like you can maintain the balance, maybe the arms are up. So if you're here where I am right now, this is going to be less intense. If you want to get deeper into your hamstrings, you're going to fold a little deeper. So I'm going to stay and demonstrate from here because I really like the sensation I'm getting at my right hamstring. And you can continue to deepen by walking the hands further forward and continuing to fold. Now, preparing to switch it up, we're going to take a different posture. We're going to stay on this side because we've already got the wheel here. Start to walk the hands towards the body, and now we're going to take the foot onto the wheel. So the sole of the foot comes onto the wheel. So this is going to be a modified knee down lunge. Okay, so here your foot can be further in front of your knee. And as you press your hips forward, feel the opening at the front of the left hip. And slowly come out, lower the hands down to the wheel, to the mat. Right knee is going to come down. And then from here, we'll lift that left foot, bring it forward, and let's switch up and take the wheel over to the left side of the mat now. So 2 postures coming up just like we did on the other side. We're going to take our half pyramid pose, so like a supported runner's lunge, and then we'll move into the knee down lunge. So think about how you want to set up. I like to bring my hand down to support. Other hand stabilizes the wheel, and then I get my left calf muscle there. Maybe you start with a more gentle option. So thinking shoulders above hips, ears above shoulders. If your hamstring is ready for more, and only if it's ready for more, then you can start to hinge at the hips, fold forward, let your fingertips come down to the mat, or maybe you take your hands to blocks. So you're somewhere in the middle. Wherever you decide to be with each exhale, continue to fold. Now preparing to come out, maybe taking the hands to the wheel, maybe keeping one hand down. Bring the sole of the left foot to the wheel. So remember, foot can be in front of the knee, and then from here, we'll just press the hips forward. Just a couple rounds of breath here. And then slowly come out. All right, let's come on to the shins. So we're giving ourselves a little break off the knees. I'm on concrete with a very thin mat. So I could feel that on my knees in that last posture, in that modified knee down lunge. If your floor is like that and it's really uncomfortable for your knees, or you have knee issues, then you can position a knee pad or put a folded blanket to support your knees. So make sure you're comfortable in each posture. Now we're going to do one more. This is going to be our last one for this sequence, and this is going to be a lizard lunge with the wheel. And this one is coming up last because this one's a little more challenging to balance the wheel on your back foot. So to set it up, we know the hands are going to go forward, the wheel is going to go back. The wheel is going to come back so the front of your back foot can rest on it. So from here, we'll think knee down lunge, start. Position the wheel to where you think it's going to meet your foot, and then bring the top of the foot to the wheel. Now, pause. Make sure that your hands are in line with your front foot, and then you're going to lift your back knee. So it might take a minute to adjust so you can get the front of the foot on the wheel, and you'll notice that the wheel might shimmy around. So practice finding stability here. Really pressing the top of the foot down to the wheel. So that back leg is lifted. Palms are pressing down to the mat. Here you can point your back toes. And if you want to go deeper for your hip, you can splay that left knee out. Reach the crown of the head forward, lengthening the spine. Really feeling into both hips. And then to come out, we'll bring that left knee in. We'll gently lower that right knee down. And we'll bring that left knee back. Walk the hands back. Lift that right foot off the wheel. And we're going to take the wheel now over to the left side, because the wheel is now going to support underneath the left foot. So right foot forward first, and then position the left foot onto the block. Hands in line with the foot, lift the back knee, press the foot to the wheel, arms are straight, maybe the right knee splays out. Hold and breathe. Remember to reach the crown of the head forward. Maybe you close your eyes and notice all the sensation at the hips. Hip, hip, hooray. Feels so good to get into your body. And slowly coming out. Right knee comes in. Left knee lowers down slowly and with control. And then the right foot comes back, right knee meets the left. Remove the wheel. And bring your hips back down to your heels. So the shins and the tops of your feet are your foundation. And that's it, guys. That's what I've got for you today for an introduction of how to use a yoga wheel. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please just hit the subscribe button and I'll continue to create content for you. Thank you. See you next time.